So we got quite the interesting development here. It is very early in the morning, so I'm gonna attempt to talk a bit quiet. And who would have thought? Your man actually woke up early. I didn't wake up at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I woke up at around 5:30 a.m. and I'm feeling good. So hopefully this is the way my sleep schedule will work. I woke up. I went to bed with a few spoilers last night, but I woke up to the full summary and everything. So I've already read the full summary, and I'm going to just kind of give you the rundown of what's happening, because I basically know the context behind these manga panels now. So just like every time, not every time, just like every video, it's going to become a routine at this point. So thank you to Shinobu and DB Hype X on Twitter for doing all their work. Normally, shout outs to them. If you want the spoilers at the earliest, they're probably the best ones on Twitter to follow. So we begin the chapter, not begin, but one of the big things here is the team that Jiro is with. She was constantly listening, and she'd to warn everybody, along with Momo and Mineta and Kirishima, that she could hear a really big force attempting to come their way. And of course, that big force is Gigantomachia. Now, these scans aren't in any particular order, so I'm going to attempt to hopefully make some sense for you guys on the chronologically what's happening. But we then get a scan of Gigantomachia dragging Mountain Lady, who is tied to his leg, as Jiro tells the team that the big force is slowing down, but that is because Mountain Lady is tied to his goddamn leg. So basically what happens here is, remember that hand clash that Mountain Lady and Machia were having at the end of last chapter? Basically what happens is that Machia basically completely overwhelms Mountain Lady, which is what I'm assuming most people expected to happen. Machia is just too much of an absolute god at this point. And he flips Mountain Lady over his back, but I believe Mountain Lady ties herself to his leg in order to slow him down as much as possible, because she knows that she is no match for him, and he has the League of Villains on his back, and he is currently trying to make his way towards Shigaraki, over in, I don't remember what city, but the battle with Shiggy. That's pretty much one of two main storylines in this, or I guess three main perspectives in this manga chapter. We have the perspective of Mountain Lady, the perspective of Midnight, and then the big perspective of Jiro and the student team on the outskirts of the Paranormal Liberation Front's mansion. So we proceed to go to the next few scans, where we get the Midnight perspective, and in my opinion, this is probably the biggest perspective, the biggest story development of the chapter, and that's the fact that Midnight is writing on I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong, but is it Kamui Woods, the big old tree dude. She's riding on his back, and she comes up with a plan to basically put to sleep all of the members of the Paranormal Liberation Front. So the first scan we get is of her crawling in the woods. She's in very, very bad condition and attempting to communicate to someone on the comm. So what happens in this panel is Redestro is fighting Edge Shot, and Redestro ends up hitting Edge Shot with some debris or whatever, and Midnight gets knocked directly in the head with a chunk of rock. She falls off Kamui Wood's back and into the forest, where she is in rough condition, no longer able to attempt to put asleep Redestro and Machia with her fucking pheromones, whatever the hell she oozes out of her body. So what happens is she ends up communicating with Momo over comm, saying that The only way to defeat the villains is to put them to sleep, and that I'm assuming she wants them to take matters into their own hands and do that. The biggest thing here, though, is that she tells Momo that she is entrusting her with that plan, and that everything is in her hands now, and Midnight then proceeds to stop responding over comm. So we'll see when the chapter comes out what her fate is exactly, but it's all pray to you Midnight fans, because she may not be doing very good in this chapter. You know, it's just how it be sometimes, you know. So Redestro is fighting Edgeshot and Fat Gum, and he's pretty much fucking shit up at this point. So you see Midnight basically all, you know, so he ends up, so what happens is Redestro sends a shockwave towards Fat Gum and the heroes. Machia proceeds to run through the forest, and then that's when you see a piece of rock hit Midnight, and she falls into the forest. She manages to get up. She's in rough shape. And there's Redestro once again fighting Edgeshot. Edgeshot is hitting Redestro, but he doesn't really seem to do much because Redestro is pretty much a god at this. Like, he's not being affected by anything at all. And this is where you see Kamui Woods come in. There's a nice manga panel of him coming in to attempt, as Midnight pulls her sleeve with her mouth, attempting to put to sleep. So then we get another manga panel of Mount Lady attempting to hold back Machia. You can just see Machia is so fucking huge, bro. Like, I'm assuming Mount Lady is the biggest she can be, and she has both hands on Machia's shoulders, and he is just fucking massive, dude. Like, it is insane how big this bro is. An interesting development we have is so every single League of Villain member is on the back of Machia, but then there's one Meta Liberation Army member who proceeds to question, why am I the one on here when it's my job to protect Lord Redestro? And then Dabi that says, who knows, but you're with us, so we must be on our way to Shigaraki, because that was the plan. So this is the manga panel where Kamui Woods says, hold out Mount Lady a little bit longer, and she says it's too much as her nose bleeds. Machia flips her completely over his back as Mount Lady just proceeds to tie herself around his leg, and Jiro says the big mass is slowing down. It was going as fast as possible because, of course, Machia is dragging somebody with him. So that is all the spoilers I got for today. Kind of a bit of everywhere, pretty much. We got the Mount Lady trying to hold off Machia as long as possible. She can't do it, so she proceeds to just tie herself around his leg and be dragged around the area. Redestro is fighting Edgeshot, who can't really seem to do much damage to him, and in the result of the collateral damage, Midnight and Kamui Woods' plan to put everyone to sleep is foiled when Midnight is hit off of his back and falls into the forest. Presumably, nobody knows where she is. She ends up communicating to Jiro and Momo, who are the third team on the outskirts. Jiro is actively listening on how close Gigantomachia is, and Momo is now entrusted with the plan to put to sleep the remaining villain members. So we'll see when the chapter comes out what exactly happens. What is the status of Midnight? What will happen to Mount Lady? It seems like the heroes are slowly losing the grip on the battle. Hawks is down and out for the count. Mount Lady and Midnight might be out for the count. It's not looking very much better over with the Shiggy fight. So we'll see what happens when the chapter comes out. And I got a nice short vid for y'all. This is an end of an era here. I'm recording this while actively moving out of my house, so this will be the last video in my old house. I'll see you guys probably next time. Next spoiler video. I won't have time to make anything different, but I will just see you guys whenever, I don't know, whenever I feel like it, I guess. Who knows?